All right, guys, big thanks to Craig from my Patreon group for sending in this guy here. This is the Seiko sne541 caliber V157 solar quartz. Suggested retail $400. This actually is a Seiko USA exclusive, meaning that you can only buy this model. They have a few other models that meet this criteria, but Seiko USA reserves certain colorways of a model for their online exclusive purchasing, and this is one of them. And you can see it's a great looking model. I love the metal bezel. This is as far as I can tell, it's a like metal bezel insert, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think it's like an engraved bezel like you would see on like the older Monsters or anything like that. But case size on this guy is 46.7 millimeter. Now you can see it has that traditional tuna shape to it where it has a little bit of narrowing up towards the top, but at the widest part down here at the base is 46.7, 45.6 lug to lug on those turtle lugs. They're just short and they turn down a little bit, drilled of course. 12.12 millimeter thick, hardlex crystal up top, and 22 millimeter lug width. Crown is a screw down crown, and it is a 7 millimeter crown. Super easy to operate down here at the, it looks to be a true 4 o'clock positioning, which is also in line with the 4 o'clock date, and that's kind of framed in. So this is another one of those watches where I don't really categorize it as a faux patina. It's just tan. It's just a black and tan watch. So if you zoom in on this guy, you can see, I don't think they were really going for like a faux patina, more so than they were just looking to add, you know, like a tan or a khaki colored to the watch. So you have like a textured black dial. It's like a matte black dial that's textured. And then you have those full indices of the same color. They're not framed in the white or anything like that. So now if you look at the print on the chapter, that's definitely white, and the print of the Seiko, the Prospex X, the Solar, and the Diver 200 is all done in white, as is the printed on date on the black date wheel. So I think that's nice. It adds like basically a tricolor effect, which I'm a big fan of, even though these colors are definitely more muted. There's no like pop of color or anything like that. You can see those hands are super broad and rectangular almost. You know, they nipped off the corners a little bit there, but nice brushed handset, and then they blacked out the center part of the stack. I really like this combination of color. I think they nailed it 100% on this one. And nice 120 click bezel. There's only hash marks on it. There's no numbers on this one. So nice, clean, sterile look to both the entire watch, the dial and the bezel, because you know, it's just three-handed, telling the time, and then you get a date. It's very clean. The orientation could be a little tricky on the dial because you do have slightly oversized markers at the 12.369, it looks like, versus the rest of the indices, but there's nothing to really point you to that 12 o'clock other than if you keep the pip of the dive bezel up there. So that would be the only thing that would keep you up there. This one's still new. I don't think Craig ever really wore it. Still has the protective blue coating on the back there, but you can see there's some information there. Movement out of Japan. And like I said, it's the V157, which is just a three-handed date solar quartz movement. And you can read up. You can Google the V157 if you want. There's all kinds of specs out there about the size of it and how much charge time you need, and that'll last like 10 months on a full charge sort of thing if you throw it in the drawer. Nice silicone strap here, and I absolutely love the silicone keeper. I had wondered what a silicone keeper would look like on one of these straps that Seiko offers, because traditionally, I don't have one right here, I have a crafter, but traditionally they would do the metal keeper, so it'd be like that. And I kind of wondered, you know, would it still work if it was done in the same material? And I have to say, Seiko, throw out all the metal keepers, get rid of those, go to this. It's just my personal preference, but I'd like to force it on everybody. Here it is next to a regular SBBN tuna, also quartz, just not solar. So, you know, you have some price differences there for sure. You know, this $400 on this. You might be able to find some sort of discount via Seiko, but you might, because it is a Seiko USA online exclusive, you might be kind of tied to that $400 mark. I'm not sure if they offer discounts. Whereas, you know, you get into one of these SBBN tunas, you're talking $1,000. So $600 more, or, you know, you could buy 2.5 of these for one of these. I don't know. Depends on what your wants are. Obviously, the 7C46 movement that's in the traditional tuna is like a phenomenal movement. It's just awesome. But these solar quartz movements are awesome too. I mean, for the most part, I've had a couple of them where the ticks don't line up exactly right. This one's lining up perfect. It snaps into place really good. So in the timekeeping on it, I think they're saying it's plus minus, it could be up to plus minus 15 seconds per month. So I haven't had this one around long enough to actually verify that, but I suspect they're even better tolerances than that on this guy. But let me pop this on wrist real quick so you can see what it looks like on my 7¼ inch wrist. And then of course we'll kill the lights and check the loom. Big thanks to Craig for sending this in. And so the silicone keeper is a little more tricky to manage. I will give them that. The metal keeper is easier to manage. It slides on the strap better, and it's easier to get the strap in it. This one's a little more tricky, but I think it'll stay put once you get it there, and it's definitely more comfortable on skin, for me at least. So there you can see what it looks like on my 7¼ inch wrist. Now, of course, 22mm lug width. I mean, you can put a ton of different bracelets on this if you want. There's aftermarket metal shrouds you can get for this if you wanted to take it up a notch. I kind of like the two-tone look of the stainless steel and the black, but I definitely have enjoyed seeing pictures of people posting where they do the metal shroud on them, and they'll throw like a really nice bracelet, whether it's a something with a straight end link. But you can do some really killer bracelets on this and really take it up a notch. It'll add more heft to it as well, ditching this resin and going with a stainless steel and then a stainless steel bracelet. Basically, you're going to have this thing right here for like half the price. Because if you get this for less than $4, say you get it for like $350, or a different variant of it, and then you have, I don't know what a shroud costs, probably $100 or less, and then the bracelet's another $100. So maybe if you're all in is under $500, I mean, you basically recreated that without the prestige of the 7C movement and the 300-meter water resist, which you probably don't need, but for half the price. Other than that, I guess maybe you could throw a sapphire crystal in it, because even these this one and then the second generation, they still all have Hardlex crystals. It's not until this new model, which hopefully I'll get in, they jump to sapphire. So I don't know. These solar tunas are, and there's more to choose from and everything. They're easier to get, so I'm kind of digging these guys straight up. All right, let's kill the lights. We'll check the loom on this. Yeah, killer. For it being, a tan colored loom, it's still just phenomenal. It's such a great traditional like green Lumibrite that Seiko uses. A little bit of bluish to it, a little bit more blue than the green of the old tuna. And as my eyes focus, it almost looks like it's blue loom. That's crazy. It's definitely more blue than it is green, but it still has hints of green. So anyway, blah blah blah. I'll see you guys on the next vid.